Go.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Will.
And I'm Steven.
And this is Post P Chronicles Talk to Me Tuesday. All right, so we're doing a little different today. Instead of a live, we're taking questions that were asked and, we're just going to talk about it, So let's start off with the first question. And the question is, looking in the mirror, do you like what you see? Steven, why don't you take that one?
Do I like what I see? I like what I'm becoming. I'll put it that way. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be a finished product. We're always going to be working towards bettering ourselves. At least you should be working towards bettering yourself. So I do like where I'm going. When I look in the mirror, I don't see a failure or someone that's just a mess. And what are you doing? So I could say, yes, I like what I see, but more so I like what I'm becoming and where I'm going. What about you, Will?
Man, let me see. I'm going to be just a tad bit vulnerable. Sometimes, yeah, I look in the mirror and I like what I see. And then sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, you could be so much better. I'm self-aware of my shortcomings, things that I need to improve on. And even though I'm aware of them, sometimes it takes me a while to change them. Not because I'm stubborn or anything, but it's like conditioning. If you've only thought or done one thing one way for so long, then now that you're aware of it in a short amount of time, it's going to take time for you to rework that way of thinking. So for me, let's say it's like my anger issue. I know it's a problem. I am aware of that. And sometimes I look at myself like, man, bro, you have to be better. So it's moments like that where I'm like, I don't like what I see. But because I'm self-aware, I know that I'm willing and able and ready to put the work in to be the best version of myself.
I like that answer. I think it's all about identifying patterns. We all have patterns that we could do better, and self-aware that, I know I could be better at, right? And I know there's things I'm not perfect with. So it's not that I'm going to look in the mirror and see a bad person, but I can look in the mirror and say he's still got a ways to go.
Right. Definitely. All right, so let me see. We got another one. I know you're gonna like this one, Steven. It says, which is more important, spiritual health, emotional health, or mental health?
I think emotional and mental are the same. Let's go physical, emotional, and spiritual. Let's do that for the sake of the conversation, because I think emotional and mental are the same. I think you need a fine balance of all of them. I mean, but there are some people I know that are great people that they don't take care of their physical health, but their spiritual and mental health. I also personally think that, obviously, I'm Christian. My faith is a big part of my life, who I am and what I do. I think your spiritual health is key, because what you think spiritually and the way you view the world spiritually is really going to affect what you do. But also mental health, the way you view yourself, is going to affect the way you act, what you do, and what you say. But you can't walk this earth and be not mentally healthy, right? And the reason we started the Post P Chronicles group is because, we want them to be mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy. And we realize that, and we're coming to realize that how important physical health is too. So in a perfect world, I'd say they all need to be balanced, but I would say, for me personally, my spiritual health will dictate the health in all those other two areas. But the last couple of years, I'm going to counseling, I'm seeing a therapist. My mental health is key. And then obviously I've never had an issue with my physical health, because that's been a staple in my life.
We can see that. We can definitely see that. So let me take a stab at this. For me, off top, see, I'm gonna take a different viewpoint, because I see mental health and emotional health separately. I definitely think, first and foremost, I think spiritual health, I think mental health is the most important thing. Because if you're not mentally here, then everything you do will be affected. It will be affected if you don't have the right mentality. And that's your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional. Now, when it comes to emotional, as a man, we're not taught to have emotion when anger is an emotion, but we don't talk about that. Anger is an emotion, but that's the only emotion that's readily acceptable by society for men. But I think that having emotional intelligence as a man is a really strong thing. Especially if you're a father, if you're in a relationship, if you're a husband, or if you a son, anything. You need to have emotional intelligence. You need to be aware of what you're feeling. And when you're aware of what you're feeling, you'll know how to react in certain situations. So I think those two are at the top of my list. First mental health, and then, emotional health, and having emotional intelligence. That's for me.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's your view on spiritual health?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your view on spiritual health, Will?
What was that?
What's your view on spiritual health?
On spiritual health? Well, I'm not a big I'm not what do I consider myself? I believe in a higher power. I don't know what that consists of. So my spiritual health, my mom, my pops, they always on me. They always praying for me. I understand the importance of believing in something, but I fall short of saying spiritual health is at the top of my list. So that's that gray area for me. For those people who are like that, I encourage it, because that's something that they need in order to be the best version of their self. I'm not there yet in my life. Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but I think it's important to realize, like, where you are in each step of your life, one may be more important than the other, right?
Right. Definitely. So let me see. This one, I think this is a very good one. Okay, it says, do you work out to clear your mind, to look good, or just to do it?
You want me to go first?
I'll take this one.
Go for it.
Every day it might be a little different. Every day it definitely might be a little different. I think for sure, definitely I like to work out because I like to look good. That's a part of it. I like to look good. I like to feel good, and working out does that. And then sometimes, man, I work out because I need to clear my mind. Sometimes when I'm going through a lot of things, I know I can go to the gym, put some headphones on, put some earbuds in, and just forget whatever's going on in my life. And this is something I can control. A lot of things, especially when a lot of things feel like they're out of control, I get to a place where I know how to move these weights. I know how to control this. And, it gives me peace. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. A lot of people say, like, they work out to clear their head, or they work out to get their anger out. Like, I can't work out angry or I'll get injured. I can't work out overly aggressive. I got to be in a good state of mind to focus, to perform at my best. Because, if I come in the gym angry, I get no pump. I get no mind muscle connection. I'll be like, this is a waste of time. Why did I come to the gym? Literally, for me, the reason I started working out was like, I want to look like a superhero and be strong like a superhero. So that's my goal. Is those two things. And so you can say, yes, it's physical and it's for looks, but also it's for performance. I want to be big and strong, and I want to look big and strong. And that's always been my goal. And it's more methodical in the way I go about doing things and how I want to grow. And I can't be methodical and planned out if I'm angry, or I'm just trying to clear my head, because then my head's not on the weights.
Right. No, that is I've never heard that before, but when you say it, it's like, it makes perfect sense. I guess everyone is different, but it makes perfect sense. Especially if you lifting really heavy stuff. Why would you want to be angry? Why would you want to have your mind clouded? You want to be focused, because this is some heavy stuff you're throwing around, and you can really injure yourself if you don't have that mind muscle connection.
It's like a good UFC fighter, right? A good UFC fighter, in the streets you fight because you're angry. In the UFC, you're in the cage and you're trying to fight out of anger. You're going to get knocked out. You got to be technical. You got to be sound. Mm-hmm. Attention. You can't get too worked up, because if you're not, that's when you get injured. And in UFC, you start swinging out of anger. I'm sure your technicals and your hands are going to start dropping, and that's when you get knocked out, or you get caught up in an arm bar or something.
Yeah, and I've definitely done that before, where I've been in the gym and I'm angry or I'm just not emotionally where I need to be. And it doesn't really, it helps me block out what I'm going through. But at the same time, I'm just moving stuff. I'm just
Yeah, if I'm
moving.
angry, I'll go do some cardio or something. I don't need my mind for that.
You don't need your mind for that. Huh? That's really gonna take your mind off. It's like, oh my God, this is so hard. Especially what is that? The HIIT training you've been doing?
I'll probably get more angry from doing cardio.
Most definitely, man. So yeah, those are definitely those are three great questions. Thank you guys for sending those in. Anybody else, if you want to send us any questions, you want to talk about anything, like, and just remember, it doesn't always have to be a question. It could just be a topic, something that you just want to talk about, because we love to talk, So definitely send it in. Let us know. This has just been another great episode of Talk to Me Tuesday. I'm Will.
I'm Steven.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.